Hello. So this is another video of me doing like a speed paint. Well, like I sped up the video actually faster than the previous video that I did. But this isn't a page in the comic. I'm sort of labeling it as like an alternative cover because I specifically made it for Webtoons actually, because the cover that I have is really good and I like it, but looking at different covers and things on Webtoons, I saw that most of them included faces. Pretty much all of them included like the faces of the main characters. And so then I came up with this design for a cover for Webtoons. Just because I wanna put it on there. I do have my WordPress website that I put stuff on, but yeah, I definitely wanted to have another place where I could post stuff that would, be more accessible to people to discover the webtoon, or to discover, my comic on Webtoons. I feel like that would be, easier for people to do than to stumble across a random WordPress webcomic website. So yeah, this is of Poppy and Carnation, two of the main characters of the comic. There's actually, it's sort of like a party of 5 people, but I would say that Poppy is sort of the main character, and she's always been, but Carnation is actually the last character that I came up with, and she steadily became a more and more important character, just organically as I developed the story. And I feel like her character, I'm nervous about in a way that I think her character is very interesting, and the things that I can do with it can either be really, really cool and make her into her own very interesting character, or it'll kind of flop, which who knows what'll happen. Who knows, down the line, because chapter 1 will probably take me this year to make, and I haven't really written chapter 2 out. I have a sort of vague plot, but yeah, as chapter 1 was sort of written, Carnation's character kind of became more and more interesting, and I was like, there's a lot of stuff here that could really be explored. And yeah, I did speed this up a lot more than the last one, just because, well, especially for the sketch part, because you can't really see that much of what I'm doing since it's in the light blue, as I talked about in the other video. And one thing that I discovered was that because I did this in like the time-lapse recording on my phone, and then I sped it up even more on CapCut. I'm using CapCut on my computer to edit it, and the video quality really isn't there since it is recorded in like a time-lapse. So and then also because I recorded this video and the video for page 4, the storage on like my phone and like my Google storage was like, no, we don't have the capacity for this. So then I bought more storage, and so hopefully I recorded me doing page 5 in real time, but I only recorded me inking it, because I feel like that's the part that really makes sense to record for something like this. I think it's the most interesting part of the process, and obviously it's the part that's easiest to see, And yeah, you can see on this one I recorded on the like right side of my shoulder, which I think I like the left side better, but the thing is that it's tilted away from the camera if it's on the left side of my on like my left shoulder, but it's facing towards the camera if it's on the right side, but then obviously my hand and face and stuff really gets in the way. Which can be an issue. So I think I like the left side of my shoulder more, and having the camera there. And you know, this is all like a big learning process for me, making videos, and also just learning how to draw while I'm filming is kind of a difficult thing. You know, having a tripod that I bump into frequently, or like I'll, you know, someone will come to my room and talk to me, or I'll, you know, get up, get water, do all of that stuff, zone out while I'm watching Dimension 20 or something funny will happen, and I'll just sort of watch it for a few minutes, and I'm like, oh, I'm still drawing, and I'm recording myself drawing, which sort of puts a different precedent on that. I feel like that's also why I sped it up a bit faster, because with the last video I was like cutting out a lot of gaps in time that I just wasn't doing anything, but with this it's just sped up a bit more, and I feel like those small gaps just sort of allow you, the viewer, to look at, you know, what I have so far, since my hand is also in the way. But yeah, that's pretty much it. This is an alternative cover, so now my comic is also on Webtoons. You can read it there if you wanna. There's only like the first few pages, but they're all in the span of 3 episodes. So I have the covers, this cover and the original cover in the first episode, and then I have the first couple pages in the second, and then the other pages on the third. So I think for Webtoons I might do maybe like 2 pages in an episode, just so it has that scrolling time. I feel like also reading comic books and graphic novels while also reading a bunch of webcomics on Webtoons and Tapas has definitely affected the way I've sort of formatted my pages, like in my thumbnails. It has definitely affected the way that I format my pages versus putting them on permanently to ink, if that makes sense. The way that I use, you know, this space, I feel like sort of combines those two ideas, because obviously the way that you would, you know, format a comic book page versus a webtoon, and like the amount of space and text that you put on each page or each panel is very different, versus like living on an actual page versus just scrolling on your phone, almost like panel by panel. And instead of having like 4 super dramatic shots, having like a either a full page illustration or like a double spread, you would have like a really long vertical scroll that takes up that space for a dramatic moment. So I don't know, sort of dealing with those two things. Definitely this isn't a comic that's really formatted for webtoons or webcomics. It's definitely more geared towards eventually being printed. I don't think this would ever be like printed professionally, but I think I would want to print a few personally for like me, and you know, maybe I would give some to my friends, and have a few that I could, I don't know, send to people if they wanted it. But obviously that's very, very far away, because I think I would want to have all of the chapters in one, like, thick book, which, you know, would take several years. So that's me getting ahead of myself for a little bit. But yeah, that's pretty much it. This is just me, drawing and inking and all of that stuff. Yeah, so, that's pretty much it. You can, just watch, and, thank you so much for watching. Bye-bye.
Thank you.